The hotel keycard slipped from my fingers as my eyes locked on my phone screen. The banking app glowed with an impossible number, $1,623.47. Last night, the balance had been $10,023.47. "What's wrong?" James asked. His lawyer's briefcase, half-packed for our return to Seattle. My lungs refused to work properly. $8,400, I whispered. "It's gone." James was beside me in an instant, his warm hand steadying mine as I showed him the screen. The transaction history told the horrifying story. $2,000 transferred to my sister Victoria's credit card, $4,000 to her husband Derek's account, $2,400 to my mother's name, all while I had been showering last night after my brother Ryan's wedding. "Rachel," James said, his voice dropping to the controlled tone he used in courtrooms. "Someone accessed your account without permission. That's theft. We need to call the bank immediately. My name is Rachel. I'm 34 and a software engineer. This is the story of how I learned the difference between being family and being used." As we headed toward the hotel lobby, my phone vibrated. My mother's name appeared on the screen. "Rachel, thank you for yesterday. Ryan was really happy." Her voice sounded perfectly normal. "Mom," I kept my voice steady, despite the thundering in my chest. "There were several $1,000s transferred from my account yesterday. Do you know anything about that?" After a brief pause, she laughed. "Oh, that. It was actually less than I expected." "What do you mean?" "Victoria saw your account had more money than she thought, so we decided to split it." Her words were casual, as if discussing leftovers after dinner. "Mom, that's theft." My voice trembled. "Oh, don't be so dramatic," she replied. "We're family, aren't we? You always think only about yourself. You're single and make a high salary. Of course, you should help your family." James took the phone. "Hello? I'm Rachel's boyfriend. What you've done is illegal. Withdrawing money from her account without permission is a crime." "Oh, the lawyer." My mother's voice grew colder. "Stay out of family matters, will you?" I reclaimed my phone. "Mom, how did you access my account?" asked Victoria. "She did it." And with that, she hung up. The drive to my parents' house felt surreal. James silently held my hand across the console. "Let's go to my parents' house," I said firmly. "I want to hear the truth directly." 30 minutes later, we stood at my parents' front door. My father opened the door. "Oh, Rachel, I thought you were leaving already." I walked straight to the living room, where Victoria, Derek, and my mother were gathered. Derek still had a smile on his face. The room fell silent when I entered. "How did you access my account?" My voice shook with quiet intensity. Victoria shrugged. "In the hotel room while you were in the shower. You live a luxurious life alone, but we have kids to raise. Don't try to justify stealing," I said, my voice stronger now. "Rachel, don't make such a big deal out of this," my mother said. My father opened his newspaper. "Keep your voice down." James stepped forward. "Rachel has supported all of you for years. She gave Harry an expensive birthday gift. She bought Margaret a game console. Isn't that enough?" Victoria scoffed. "That's just her duty, isn't it? Rachel's single, no kids. We have responsibilities. Harry's lessons, Margaret's school. All of it costs money." Derek added. "It was only a small portion of your money anyway. You make a lot, don't you?" I felt a flood of memories flash before my eyes. The list of wants Victoria had sent for Harry's 10th birthday. I had wanted to say no, but my mother said, "You're not going to give your nephew anything? You're better off than the rest of us." And in the end, I bought an expensive tablet. Now those moments look different. I wasn't helping. I was being used. "I want it back," I said firmly. "Every 100, right now." Derek laughed. "That's impossible. It's already gone. We used it for Ryan's wedding gift to pay off some debts and a little shopping." "Shopping?" I asked. Victoria answered. "The smartwatch Derek wanted. The same one you were flaunting." "Flaunting? That was a gift from James to celebrate my promotion. Something precious to me." "Rachel," my mother said, "you always overreact. We're family. It's only natural to lend and borrow money." "This is theft," James said firmly. My father raised his head. "Young lawyer, don't be dramatic. Don't bring the law into a family matter." I stood frozen. This was my family, the people I had loved and supported. But to them, I was just an ATM. "Rachel, let's go," James said, placing a hand on my shoulder. "There's no point in staying." As we walked toward the door, Victoria called out, "Don't be so mad. With your salary, you'll make it back in no time. And we truly needed that money more than you." When I turned around, she looked like she meant every word, not a trace of guilt. "Goodbye," I said. "Don't ever contact me again." When I got into the car, the tears came. How can a family be this cruel? James silently rubbed my back. "Rachel, I wasn't joking earlier. This really is a crime. What they did is illegal access and theft. But they're family, I whispered. That doesn't give them the right to hurt you, he said. Think about it. If a stranger stole $8,400 from your account, wouldn't you go straight to the police? I nodded. Then why should it be okay? Just because they're family. If anything, they should be the ones protecting and respecting you. On the way back, we decided to stop by Ryan's apartment. When he opened the door, he looked tired. Rachel, what's wrong? What happened? $8,400 was stolen from my account. Victoria, Derek, and Mom and Dad seemed to be involved. Ryan's face drained of color. What? While I was taking a shower at the hotel, Victoria apparently used my phone to transfer the money. Ryan held his head in his hands. I knew Victoria and Derek had been talking about money a lot lately, but I never imagined they'd do something like this. Mom and Dad said not to worry about it, because it was a wedding gift for you, James said. Ryan looked up, eyes filled with anger. I didn't know anything. I never asked them to do that. What are you going to do? Ryan asked nervously. I don't know yet, but I can't just let this go. Yeah, what they did was wrong, he said. But if possible, please don't do anything that will break up the family. I'm not the one who broke this family, I said coldly. Back at our apartment, James and I sat in silence for a long time. I can't believe this actually happened. I never realized they were using me. James held my hand. Because you're kind. Because you trusted your family. But this time is different. They accessed my account without permission and stole my money. James thought for a moment. Rachel, this is clearly a crime. You have the right to take legal action. You mean, report them to the police? My own family? Yes. They're the ones who did something wrong. Not you. The next morning, James left early. In the afternoon, he returned with a large file materials on financial crimes and a detailed guide on gathering evidence of unauthorized access. I consulted with a colleague who specializes in financial crime, James explained. Financial exploitation by family members is more common than we think. Single, high-income earners tend to be targets. Is all of this really necessary? They're my family. James looked serious. Rachel, what they did was a crime. If you don't do anything this time, they'll just do it again. From that day on, I began reviewing my financial records for the past 3 years. Just in the past year, the total amount I had sent or loaned to my family exceeded $15,000. This isn't normal, I said. This is one-sided exploitation. I also noticed the pattern in how they asked for money. They would start with sweet words. When I hesitated, they'd say things like, "We're family," or "You're more fortunate than us to make me feel guilty." And finally, they would end with blame. "You're selfish." Over the weekend, James brought over a lawyer friend named Sophia. "Rachel, this is a clear case of financial abuse," she said, after reviewing my evidence. "Just because their family doesn't make it acceptable." She leaned forward. "But think about it. If this were about James and a stranger had stolen $8,400 from his account, what would you tell him?" "I'd tell him to report it to the police. And what if it were his parents or siblings?" I fell silent. "A crime is a crime," Sophia said. "Being family doesn't mean they get a free pass. In fact, because they're family, it's an even deeper betrayal. Because I love my family, I have to stop this behavior," I said. "They don't respect me. They ignore my feelings and have betrayed my trust." I made up my mind. "James, let's do it. I'll report this to the Financial Crimes Division." We scheduled an appointment with Detective Taylor. I explained what happened, and James handed over a prepared folder, bank records, evidence of unauthorized access, patterns of previous transfers, emails, and text messages. After reviewing the contents, Taylor looked up. "Ms. Bennett, this is clear evidence of financial crime. There are signs of unauthorized access, theft, and possibly long-term financial abuse. What happens next?" I asked nervously. "First, we'll begin a preliminary investigation. If enough evidence is found, we'll forward the case to the prosecutor." "Are you having doubts?" Taylor asked gently. I shook my head. "No, it's just, they're my family." "Ms. Bennett," she said seriously, "one of the most common cases we handle involves financial crimes committed by family. You are a victim. Please don't blame yourself." Those words felt like something inside me had been released. I was a victim, and victims have the right to seek justice. "Please proceed with the investigation," I said with resolve. The next morning, my phone was flooded with messages from my family. The first was from Victoria. "Rachel, did you really report us to the police? They're saying our accounts might be frozen. I can't pay Harry's tuition or take Margaret to her dance lessons. I can't believe you would do this to us." Then from my mother, "Rachel, what have you done? The police came to the house. What will the neighbors think? You've brought shame to this family. Please withdraw the report immediately. Your father says his heart is hurting. What if something happens to him because of you? I replied. That's your own doing. I don't care. The next day, Victoria was standing in front of my apartment, eyes red. Rachel, she shouted, why are you doing this? We're family. Victoria, if you want to talk, I'll call James. That lawyer, she scoffed. He's controlling you. Rachel, you used to care about your family. Caring about family and being exploited are different things, I said. Exploited? Victoria raised her voice. We just asked for help. Derek might lose his job now. What about Harry and Margaret? I felt a wave of anger. They will not face criminal charges. However, they may still bear civil liability. I've always thought about everyone else. But did anyone think about me when you stole my money? Victoria took a step back. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. You've changed, she murmured. That's right. I'm done being used. A few days later, Ryan came to visit. I heard everything about the police investigation, he said hesitantly. Ryan, I didn't have a choice. I know, but everyone's panicking, especially Victoria. She's scared for the kids. That's their problem. They're the ones who stole from me. Ryan, are you taking their side? No, he answered immediately. Is there anything I can do? Any way I can help? If you really are on my side, tell them what they did was wrong and that they owe me an apology. I'll try talking to them, he said weakly. James wrapped his arm around my shoulder. Are you okay? Yeah. It just hurts seeing Ryan caught in the middle. He didn't do anything wrong. He has to choose where he stands, James said gently. A few days later, James came with news. Victoria and Derek are going to be prosecuted for unauthorized access and theft. Your parents are under investigation for conspiracy. Are they going to prison? My voice was quiet. In the end, that's up to the judge, James explained. But since it's their first offense, there's a high chance the sentence will be suspended. Still, they'll most likely be ordered to repay the stolen money and cover damages. That night, I received a phone call from my father for the first time. Rachel, his voice sounded tired. Why are you doing this? The police even conducted a house search. They took my computer. Dad, I'm the victim here. Victim, he said bitterly. You're destroying your own family. Your mother can't sleep. Victoria is hysterical. And Derek has been suspended from work. The house is at risk of foreclosure. Is this what you wanted? I took a deep breath. This is the consequence of all your actions. It's not my fault. There was silence. You're no longer our daughter. You betrayed this family, and you're not welcome back. After the call ended, I collapsed to the floor. His words hurt, but at the same time, it felt like the chains that had bound me for years had finally broken. That weekend, Detective Taylor contacted me again. Victoria Bennett and Derek Bennett have been formally charged. As for your parents, due to insufficient evidence, there will be a preliminary hearing next week. After that, the trial date will be scheduled. I told James everything, what my father had said, and how I felt cut off from my family. Rachel, you're doing the right thing, James said. There are consequences to their actions, and it's not your fault. But I've lost my family. Real families are the ones who respect you and care about you, James said quietly. They didn't respect you. They ignored your boundaries and betrayed your trust. That's not what family does. A few days later, I received a letter from Lisa Martinez. I'm Derek's cousin. I heard about what you did, and I want to thank you. I was in a similar situation. My family kept borrowing money and never repaid it. When I refused, they called me selfish. Your courage gave me strength to set boundaries. Thank you. Over the following weeks, the preliminary hearing was scheduled, and legal preparations consumed most of our time. Despite everything happening, James had been secretly planning something special. He had been in touch with my favorite lakeside resort outside Seattle for almost a month, making weekend reservations that aligned with our court schedule. That weekend, about 2 months after Ryan's wedding, James took me to the beautiful lakeside spot. A small table and candles were set on a dock by the water. What's all this? I wanted to make today special, he said with a smile. As the stars began to appear, James suddenly stood up. Rachel, he said, kneeling before me and pulling a small blue velvet box from his pocket. These past few weeks, I've seen how strong and brave you are, James said. You stood up for yourself. That's not easy, but you did it. He opened the box, revealing a diamond ring. Rachel Bennett, will you marry me? Let's start a new life together. A new family. Tears rolled down my cheeks. Yes, I said in a trembling voice. I'll marry you. I may have lost my blood family, but I was given the chance to create a new one, based on mutual respect. A few days before the court date, I received an unexpected message from Ryan. Rachel, he approached me hesitantly. Can we talk for a moment? I've been thinking a lot, he began. You're right, completely right. What they did is inexcusable. I'm going to testify on your side. I was speechless with surprise. Ryan went on to explain. I knew that Victoria and Derek had been planning this for a while. I even knew they were going to use the wedding as a cover. Really? Yeah, he said, looking down in shame. But I couldn't stop them. I was scared. Scared it would tear the family apart. I placed a hand on his shoulder. Ryan, this isn't your fault. No. I'm complicit too, he said, looking me in the eye, but I can't stay silent anymore. It's time to tell the truth. I'm sure Mom and Dad will disown me too, but that's okay. Doing the right thing matters more. The truth was, Ryan had been struggling with guilt ever since my visit to his apartment. He'd spent weeks deliberating, torn between family loyalty and what he knew was right. After several sleepless nights and seeing how our parents continued to justify the theft, he finally made his decision. In court, Ryan's testimony became the deciding factor. He testified that our parents had also been involved in the plan and that Victoria and Derek had previously planned similar borrowings multiple times. The day of the preliminary hearing arrived. Victoria and Derek appeared with their lawyer. Their faces were stiff, and the looks they gave me were filled with anger. The judge reviewed the evidence and scheduled the official trial date. For my protection, the judge also issued a temporary restraining order against the entire family. As we were leaving the courthouse, I met Victoria's gaze for the first time. What I saw on her face wasn't just anger anymore. It was fear, the kind that comes when someone begins to understand the gravity of what they've done. That evening, we went to a restaurant to celebrate our engagement with James's parents. You're part of our family now, James's mother Estella said. Family means taking care of one another and treating each other with respect. As we left the restaurant, Ryan was waiting outside. Ryan, I said, surprised, and hugged him. What are you doing here? I heard from James, he said shyly. Congratulations. Ryan, what will you do now? I asked with concern. I'll be okay, he answered confidently. I'm planning to find a new job in Seattle. In Seattle? Yeah, he said. I want to be close to you, as a real family. After everything that happened, Ryan realized that rebuilding his relationship with me was more important than staying near our parents. He'd already been applying for jobs in Seattle for weeks, ever since deciding to testify. His words filled my heart with warmth. I hadn't lost everything. I still had my brother Ryan, and I was beginning to build a new family. A few weeks later, I received another message from Lisa Martinez. Dear Rachel, thanks to you, I've started reclaiming my own life. Your courage inspired me to say no to my family. Your story is reaching many people. You helped me realize that we don't have to silently endure exploitation just because it's done in the name of family. And then, the official trial began. Victoria and Derek pleaded guilty. Their lawyer requested a suspended sentence, citing financial hardship and the presence of children. The judge considered all the evidence before delivering the verdict. The defendants are hereby sentenced to 3 years of probation for the crimes of unauthorized access and theft. They are ordered to repay the stolen amount of $8,400 and pay $5,000 in damages for emotional distress. Furthermore, they must comply with a 5-year restraining order prohibiting contact with the victim. As I left the courthouse, I felt unexpectedly clear and calm. This wasn't revenge, it was justice, and it was self-defense. That night, the local news covered the case. Under the title, The Reality of Financial Crimes Within Families, my case was introduced anonymously. It became a trigger for raising awareness about financial abuse committed by family members. After the broadcast, messages began appearing in my social media inbox. Strangers shared that they, too, had suffered in similar situations. Thank you for your courage. You've given me the strength to stand up. Messages like these poured in. James beside me smiled. Look, Rachel, you're becoming a symbol of hope for so many people. 60 days passed after the verdict, and the payment deadline came and went. Victoria and Derek's bank accounts were frozen. Some of their assets were seized to cover the damages. In addition, Derek's company terminated his employment due to his conviction. Their house was now at risk of foreclosure. Hearing all this, guilt briefly flickered in my chest, but I quickly recalled James's words. This is the result of their actions. It's not your fault. At last, I felt like I had reclaimed myself. I could feel my life moving in a new direction, freed from the chains once labeled family. This time, I would build bonds with a true family.